model car fans, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I'm going to show you a build I'm starting here of Revell's 67 Camaro SS, the special edition kit from 2014. Quick look at the box here, and it's a pretty nice kit. I'm enjoying building it, and I'm building it right out of the box here. But there's some things that I think is kind of interesting about this car. I mean, it depicts the SS396, this is what I'm building here. But I think it's kind of funny with this on the box also. And they're depicting a race car here, kind of like the Z28, but this is not a Z28. This is an SS. So, and it's got the SS element in the grille, but I don't remember if they actually raced it as an SS. Maybe somebody did, but it's just kind of interesting that it's got the Z28 stripes, which those are only available on a Z28. It's got the mini light wheels. It's got a roll bar, no back seat. And it's also got, it does have its big block engine. As you go here and on the box art, show you the rest of the stuff. There's a good look at the wheels and then the stock rally wheels. But the big block engine here, that's the stock one. And then here's the race one, which is painted all gray or silver. A lot of the race engines they painted gray at the time, depending on who was doing it. But it has the Fly Eye air cleaner, which is really common in the Baldwin Motion kits. And so they got that in there. But it's kind of done like the Z28, which makes me think a Z28 may have been planned or in the works with some of the parts, but they went with the big block in the SS396. But I think there's a lot of potential in this kit and a lot of engineering that they've kind of done into it. But we'll get more into that one, because they did have the Yanko version, which I bought that one as well, which that one also has the big block, but it has the Yanko hood on it. It has the Rally Sport parts in it as well, so you can do it as a Rally Sport. And that one has a deluxe interior, which I think this one's kind of funny that this one has the standard interior, standard seats and the standard door panels. So I think it's cool that Revell gives you both in two different kits. But a lot of the SS cars, especially the big block 396 cars, a lot of them were fairly well optioned and had the deluxe interior. So it's kind of rare to find a big block without the deluxe interior. Besides that, the kit seems to be well engineered, and when we talk about the engineering of this kit, it seems like they went through some steps and were very careful on what they did, because there's a lot of hints here. There's some, you know, if you really look over this body, there's no emblems anywhere on it, and the vent windows are separate. They're actually on the clear tree. So this could easily be done as a Z28 or even a 68. So leave the vent windows off and just have decals for the marker lights, and then the grille and the tail lights that are different between all the years are all separate parts. So I could see this easily being changed into a 68 in the future, or hopefully even a convertible in the future, as I think that would be very cool. But it seems to be well engineered as the way they designed it, and could easily be upgraded or changed. So I'm really curious about the future of this tooling and what they're going to do with it. But you know, this is a separate part, and Rally Sports would have the backup lights. Actually, the backup lights are in the tail lights on the regular ones. The Rally Sports, they're below the bumper. And then the hood has no inserts around the chrome tree, so the 68 inserts would be different. You could change those and change a few things. So the different interiors, change out the engines. So there's a lot of potential with this tooling, and it seems to be well engineered in that respect, which is very cool. So if they do come out with a Z28, that'd be great. Although, you know, I have built the AMT ones, and for what they are, they're great kits. I'm not going to knock those AMT Z28s, the 67 and 68 ones, especially the 68 since it comes back from the 80s. And if you really look over those kits, they did some changes, and they did make them pretty accurate to a 67 and 68, because there are some differences. They build up really nice. Now, I built a 68 Z28, which I have not shown on the channel, but I had a street rod version, a street machine version. So I had the hole in the hood and some of the wrong parts, and I had an older one that had the glass with the mirror that was molded into it, the rearview mirror. So I swapped those out for the 90s issue 67 Z28, which had a lot of the rest of the stock parts I needed, plus some updated parts to make it a little bit better, because AMT did tweak the tooling a little bit better when they made the 67. But anyway, those are nice kits, you know, especially when you go compare them against the 69 AMT Camaro and MPC Camaros. They're really rough. But thankfully Revell has us covered really well with those kits. But with this one, I'm building it right out of the box, so I'm having a good time with it, but I've just done a little bit of tweaking. Like some of this stuff, the parts here that are yellow, if I can get my hands on them, these were on the chrome tree, so I just stuck them in the purple degreaser and stripped the chrome off of these because I like to paint these, and I'd rather not paint over chrome. So those are ready for silver and aluminum, and I got the exhaust manifolds here and the shocks and their sway bar and the intake manifold, which depending on which version I'm going to do, because I do a lot of research ahead of time, I'm going to make this the top dog, the L78. So it has the aluminum intake, so I'm going to paint this aluminum. But if I was going to go with the 325 horse version, the more standard one, then I would have glued the intake manifold on, painted the intake orange with the rest of it. But I'm going to paint this one aluminum and then glue it on afterwards and put the chrome valve covers on, because I think the 325 horse version had engine painted valve covers, not the chrome ones, but the kit, they're chromed. So I like to assemble my engine blocks and then put the heads on and paint them. If I know it's going to be an L88 like on the Corvette and I want an L88 with the aluminum heads, I'll paint the aluminum heads off the block. And some of them I've actually glued the heads and the intake together and then glued them onto the block. Found that can be sometimes difficult, but I glued the water pump on here. So I painted all of that orange. And I left the oil pan off on purpose. It's easier to paint in there, and then once you assemble it, you know, the paint's already in there. And then I'll paint this panel right there black. It's orange right now, but I'll paint that black because that's just a steel shield that covers the clutch, and that's normally black. So I'll paint that black and then put this on. So it's easier to paint that black when the oil pan is not in place, and it's easier to paint the oil pan off the motor. But that's just how I like to do this particular setup. And then I painted the tranny steel, and I like the over restored look where there's a nice clean line and this is all steel, and then the engine block, because there'd be overspray on that, but I tend to like it like this instead of having overspray on the exhaust manifolds and on the transmission. That's just my personal preference. You get a really nice 12 bolt in this thing, which you can actually see all of the bolts. This is a really nice rear end for what's in the kit. And then I painted the exhaust silver, and I glued these two parts together, the transverse muffler, and painted that. This I use a spray paint. I got a spray paint that I just have a can, and it just goes really easy. It's about the only thing I really spray paint anymore. The whole body is airbrushed with Scale Finishes paint, and I don't know this particular color, which this is butternut yellow, which for whatever reason I had to do it in this color. I couldn't pick another color, but I did it in butternut yellow. And even though I painted this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's still kind of tacky, and I had a little issue where something decided to stick on the fender here, so I got to touch that up and fix that. And I'd still have a little bit of paint left, so I got to touch that up. Then I'll get the decals on it and all of that. And the hood came out really nice. You can see the primer underneath, and it sprayed really nicely over the primer. But I got a nice fingerprint right in here. If you can see it, it's right here. And kind of, you know, make sure your hands are clean when you're handling this stuff. But that may color sand out or polish out. I'll try the polish first. If not, I'll hit that too, since I got to fix the fender. I'll fix that. Once I get it all taken care of, I'll clear coat the whole body. You got a really nice firewall on this. I mean, this is a really nice kit. The multi-leaf springs, which is pretty cool. Some of these should have a monoleaf, but I think the SS cars with the 12 bolt had leaf springs, but I don't quite remember my research fully on that. I just remember there was an extra shock on some 67s, and then they had the monoleaf, fiberglass monoleafs, and some had the steel. That was real common in the Z28s, was the monoleafs for 67. And I think it's interesting that you get a console and you get the standard interior, which I like the standard interior in this one. It's pretty nice engraving and done really well. It'll be really easy to take care of this stuff. And the seats are pretty cool. And I just shot all this semi-gloss black because I'll be detailing it all out. Got a really nice dash here. And then your very nice chassis plate, which is pretty cool. And it's detailed pretty well. I know I just semi-glossed it out. I kind of like it that way. But this almost screams that you can do the primer and the overspray and get the body color on it. And it'll come out really cool, and you can black this all out, because the subframe here, from here forward, the H here should be black, not overspray or body color. And then of course the steel gas tank. But you also get the molded in. Here's the brake line on this side, and here's the fuel lines on this side. Or do I have it backwards? Yeah, the fuel line is on this side and the brake lines is on that side, because the master cylinder is on the driver's side. But that's just even though they're the same color. And another kind of a neat touch, even though it's kind of, you see the stitching right here? That's where on the subframe the metal would overlap, and they stitch welded it. They didn't do a solid bead, but they stitch welded it. But it's kind of a nice touch. It's pretty cool. It's kind of nice to see that there. Even though it's really kind of out of scale, because those would be big welds on a real car. That'd be like a 3/4 inch wide weld. So it'd be a pretty good size weld. And they are pretty good size welds if you've ever seen a real subframe of these and how it's done. But one of the reasons why I did it in the semi-gloss black is because they give you this really nice interior tub, which you can see has the pins for the roll bar and the rear seat delete. So it's kind of set up where you can do race and stock. You put all parts in there, but it's got this little bar here for the console, which I didn't remove, so I'll probably keep the console in there. But when you put the two together, if you're going to do the primer and the overspray, you'll have to prime this piece too and hold it in place, and then do the overspray so that it gets on this side and matches when you shoot it. Because I've kind of done that before, but I haven't done it on this one. It's kind of just a quick build, and just enjoying building it out of the box. I'm enjoying building a few of them out of the box right now. After doing a couple of builds that took a lot of bit of fitting and custom work, I'm kind of enjoying doing a few out of the box. But I've still got my A12 Roadrunner I'm working on, and of course my Corvettes. We'll see how this one goes, because I got a little bit of touch up here to go. But I figured I would show you this one while I got it all pretty much blown apart, but a lot of stuff already painted. But body work on this was pretty easy, and it went really well, so it kind of went really fast, and I wasn't sure if I was going to show this one on the channel anyway. I figured at this point I'll just show it to you, and I'll do an update video on it when I get a lot more detail painted and a lot more put together. And then when it's finished, I'll show you the end result. So this one will be another quick one, but thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday.